All right, all right. Hey, hope you are doing well. Wanted to just do a quick update here on some of the things that we're seeing before this gets passed under the bridge, so to speak. We've got, of course, the Iran situation that's brewing, but what I wanted to focus in on is here is an article, Wall Street Journal talks about Congress's plans to solve the housing shortage. So I just wanted to kind of go over, kind of the brilliancy of what we're dealing with here. And this also speaks to a good thing, for us. So again, their primary focus is the first one is they're going to encourage cities to build. State and local regulations, they're going to encourage them to reduce regulations. So again, that's really going to be not much traction there, right? Like that they're saying, okay, hey, we want to inspire, encourage, and cajole the local states and municipalities to reduce the regulation. That's not going to go very far. They're going to aim to reduce the federal government environmental review process and offer exemption for some housing projects. So again, that's another one. So again, that's more so would affect large scale building tracts. But again, most of that, if you're being, evaluative and honest, falls into the local, municipality and the environmental review. So like here where we're at in Pinellas County, you've got, the environmental review process as it relates to the waterfront, flood areas, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, they can streamline that a bit, but it's not going to really dramatically change the process. The other thing is they're going to adopt broader acceptance for manufactured homes. And they're also going to encourage for these modular homes to be able to be, put in with less zoning restrictions. Again, it's not overriding the state and local, municipalities' rights to be able to do that. And then the fourth element that they're doing is mortgage access to help inspire or genuinely provide more accessibility on loans for $150,000. Again, when you take a look at that, and the reality is there still is a housing shortage. Again, there's been challenges in the commercial real estate market with elevated interest rates, inflation, the impact of all those costs. That's real, as we've discussed over the last, 4 years, basically from 2022, where you just had the seismic shift in interest rates. Fastest has been in 40 years. Those factors did impact, commercial real estate, multifamily housing, a lot of areas that we've seen impact and we've talked about. That being said, there still is a shortage of affordable housing units. And then you also see, even in the current retrenchment in the single family market for, at least the market here in Florida, and specifically here, but a lot of other areas throughout the country as well, that it's still where housing is, a price point that's beyond affordability for the average entry person or the average working person. And so, what that means is, again, it's a good and a bad thing, right? The good thing is that, structurally, the thesis of our investment focus in real estate is supported in that there is a constricted supply and an ever-growing demand. And when you have that type of imbalance, you're always going to have outsized returns. And so the reality is the government's attempt to help address or moderate the affordable housing crisis is lackluster. It doesn't have strength and it doesn't have legs under it. So their efforts are not going to make a demonstrable or credible impact. So what does that mean? It means, like, on our residential focus and our residential division, the team members there are going to see a continued opportunity to be able to process and work through and sell homes because there's going to be continued demand. On the multifamily side, there's going to be opportunity because there's demand for rentals because the affordability crisis, if you will, is not going to be addressed in the near term. And so what I have said all along and before is that the government's not willing to do what it takes. They're not willing to provide the real aggressive tax incentives to make private capital be able to come in and make it more affordable. And, they do have tax credit programs, but it's not enough. And they're just not simply willing to do more than that. And then private capital is not willing to take the lesser returns to build that. And so, again, it's just a function of they're not going to come together. They're not going to see eye to eye. And it's going to continue to be in this imbalance, which then for us and for the investors with us, it provides an opportunity over the next, I would say, continued decade to see outsized opportunity in real estate market. So hope you have a blessed and victorious week, for this is the week God has ordained for you.